Hey, this is Blake Sloan. I've been selling real estate over 14 years, and our team of highly trained professionals, along with our unmatched marketing, has sold thousands of homes here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this is how we do it.
I want you to ask yourself one thing today. One thing overall is going to make a difference right here is this right here. What is your storyline? I want you to decide today what your story is going to be through this, every single part. I decided mine was going to be that this is what I trained for. This is what I trained for. This is what I trained for over and over and over for years. And so you all have been doing that as well. And I want you to take time to write that down today in today's meeting. And I want you to go back and do a quick evaluation. In the past 72 hours, what type of stories have you allowed to play in your mind? What type of stories have you been telling yourself or those around you? Are they coming from a place of victim? Or are they coming from a place of victor? Because I could probably have you consider most of us and many of us have gone sucked into that place of victim, right? Some people are triggered by the huddle yesterday. Some people may be triggered by my stack from today, but ultimately, I want you to look back at the language of what is the storyline I'm telling myself and which way does it line up? Does it line up here, right? Overall, from a victim standpoint, or does it line up from a victor standpoint, which is what makes a massive difference? And that's something that we got to look at and kind of discuss what this looks like. And the reality of the situation is that, like, right now is the time that you're able to do that. And there's no question that a storm is coming, right? There's no question that it's just going to get tough. It's funny right now to joke and have some memes and do that. But the reality is you look at this shit like the storm is coming. And we've got to decide right now as an individual inside of you and right now as a team, right? Collectively inside your head, everybody's going to be different here. But you got to decide right now what your storyline is going to be. And you got to decide right now how you're going to come out of this by what your decision is today. Because when the shit hits you in the face and those bullets start flying again, like we talked about, and the distraction opportunity sets in, you got to decide that story right now. Because if you don't, right, if you don't, the outside factors, the outside distractions, the outside things that you're consuming are going to decide that storyline for you. And I want you guys to take that consider as well overall. So that's the decision that we're going to make today, right? Are you a wartime king? Are you a wartime queen? Are you a peacetime king or a peacetime queen? It's easy to be the king of your family, the king of everything else, like I said, when everything's going good. What separates those, right, the talkers and the doers, is how you show up when stuff goes sideways. It's how you show up when things happen that aren't really convenient or easy for you to look at, right? Me, I'm glad and thankful to be a wartime king, right? That's one story I've been telling myself. The second story over and over and tell myself, and I'm going to share it in a second, is just, I was built for this. I was built for this. Over and over, that crazy of getting up when no one else would, the crazy of doing things still was what I was built for, right? When some people can't understand me or understand my mindset, this I was built for, and that's the story that's playing in my head over and over and over. But it's going to come down to, I got to decide what I'm filling my mind up from a storyline, because if I don't, you better believe that it's going to leak in from every single angle, right? Because there's going to be a balance of consuming some things, because we got to know what's going on, how to adjust. There's got to be that protection of how I react. And so the third thing you may want to consider is something that came from Bill Belichick. I learned this from one of my coaches a while back who played for him, was control the controllables. Control the controllables. Control the controllables. What happens for most people is once things get out of control, they don't really control anything. And they forget about the things they can control, which is within themselves and within their situation there. And so that's something that's very, very important for you to look at and think of as well. So here's the thing. Right now is more important than ever for what? For to have the keys and the ones. Are you going to have to adjust those a little bit? Absolutely, right? But right now is more important than ever. It's like Jeremy said, to have that self-imposed structure. Why? We have to hedge and create leverage on ourselves, right? We have to create the leverage on ourselves and what we do here. And so that's something that's key important. So last thing here I will teach on is just really kind of something that's important for us to look at overall. And we'll teach this further probably next week, but I just wanted to address it because of what I'm seeing, right? Like, what are you guys seeing around those that you come in contact with, like friends or family? what you probably see is that most people's eyes are filled with what? I'm going to show you. Fear. Right? It's filled with this right here. Fear all around. And so what you're seeing here overall, right, is this fear just radiating from everyone, including ourselves sometimes. And here's the deal. It's okay sometimes to be like that. The one thing that challenges us is once we go down that rabbit hole and it takes hold of us, what's it do? It steals our certainty and it steals our ability to be able to lead, right? And so there's two separate things that we want to make sure that we can get to. Or fear to what? If you guys can see it, my pen's a little tough here. Fear to, what's that say?
Faith.
Faith, right? There's a gap between the two that we got to get through, and that's not something that happens naturally. It's something that we have to create and be willing to stand in that place of fear to ever get to faith. And so there's three main things that you all want to have here. Number one, right, is going to be fire, right? What does that mean, really? We talk about this a lot sometimes in our acceleration, but the one thing that you're going to need to have here is some fire. Why? Because we got to be willing to look at that fear in the face. We got to be willing to step up. We don't want to get out of bed when things are going crazy, when you're getting the scary news or whatever it is. Because there's going to be a time maybe that someone we know gets this and it may take them down. And so the key here is I got to understand of where am I going to find that fire? For me, guess where I find that? You guys take a guess where I find that? Core 4.
You find that
right?
fire inside
Daily.
yourself.
I didn't want to get up when it was 60-some degrees and it was 48 degrees yesterday and run the cold in the morning when the sun's coming up. But guess what I got to find? The fire. And as you can tell, I was able to find that yesterday and do what? Bring it on the call there. That's the important part. Number two, we'll teach you about this in a second or next week a little bit deeper, right? It's going to be the frame. The frame here, obviously, is going to be a little different. I'm running out of room, but you get the point. The frame, right? Second part is ultimately one thing, which is mindset. What's my mindset through all this as all this is coming at me, all the issues are coming at me, all the distractions are coming at me? Because here's the deal. It's so easy just to go do what? To pull back and sit here, pull out my pocket, and just scroll and numb the mind instead of facing what's going on and be productive and being proactive in today's situation. And that's something that's very important for all of us to make sure we're able to do here. So for me, I got to make sure I understand my mindset. For you all, it's going to be borrowing certainty, watching training, listening to training, going through that training. For me, ultimately, most of the time for me, is through my stack, right? I'm going to try to get you guys access to our software if I can. But the reality is we have the small examples there. Even if you do a daily, very simple reframe stack, which takes you like 2 minutes, right? Why lesson apply? What happened? Why is that a positive? What's lesson? How's that apply to my life? Allows you to constantly reframe your brain because you're training it, right? In this situation here, back to this is what I train for. I've done this every day for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. Allows me to what? Be truly trained and reframe my brain as these things happen to be able to rebound to get back through it. Third part, it's important for us to look at overall is the last part. I'll make it up a little bit because you can't see, is going to be the focus part, right? Meaning that what I focus on daily matters. We all know the basic, simple stuff of what I focus on expands. What I focus on expands. What I focus on expands is got to be keep my mind in check to help me understand the third part daily. This is what's going to take us, right, from the fear to the faith. And so as I want to give off and radiate faith to those around me, this is how I'm going to get there. The challenge is if I'm not willing to face that fear daily and stand in there, I'm never going to get to faith. And so I'm going to have the tools like Alex mentioned earlier that are already in place. It's going to allow me to get here. Number one, I create fire daily. When everyone else is wanting to lay around to the last minute and roll out of bed and jump on 9 o'clock huddle, guess what you don't have? Fire, right? If I roll out 9 o'clock, not prepared, not ready, I'm not going to have fire. There's no way that successful people get up at 9 o'clock and get it done. Just is what it is. even when things are slow. That's what separates the elite, and that's what separates the victims. And so you better believe I'm going to be a victor. I got to get up on my own merit, get up and get some fire in me somehow, some way. A lot of people here, if you want, you can do ISI training for free right now. Join the group. I think it posted on their page, free. They didn't charge you anything. They're doing virtual classes. I did mine this morning. I'm a paid member there, but you can do that for free. Or guess what you can do? Go run outside. Something as this happens to help you control the mindset. Part of me sometimes in the morning is just working my own mind out to make sure I can push through when I didn't want to do it. This morning I want to stop at 18 minutes. Looked at my watch. I'm like, damn, I got a lot more time to go. I'm gonna get through this, and it helped me be able to create more mental strength by pushing through that. Right? That's important. Number two, the frame. We have all the tools, all the resources, all the trainings here, both through myself and through other people that we've paid to have access to in our workplace, in our university, through the Jordan Belfort, through the Grant Cardone. All that's there for you to do what? Help get and set that frame for you daily, right? With you, it may take a journal in the morning. You can do the 360. Just type in stack. There's a very quick stack. The mega stack is difficult for some people. It takes a little time, but either way, that tool is there for you, right? So number one, we got fire. Number two, we got the frame. Number three, we got focus. This is going to be really what I'm deciding to focus on every moment, every day. What drives that? Well, guess what? We got a tool for that too. That's our one thing and 4 keys. Every day, I set a goal. That's why we're still having the huddle virtually, right? Is it pain in the ass to get on the huddle sometimes? Yeah, but guess what it does? It helps me refine my focus in a time I need it more than ever. Again, it helps me refine my focus in a time I need it more than ever, which is the cool part of what we have here. We still have a tribe. We still have a group. We still have a unit that we can get on in the morning and share and hold ourselves accountable to getting that done. Can you lie about it? Yeah, but that's not going to bring you the outcome. That's not going to bring you the faith that you need to get through this process and for you to get through and dominate. And so this is what we're going to teach on next week a little bit more. But I want you to look around you, all those around you right now that are filled with fear. You want to be the beacon around them that's filled with faith. You want to be the certainty they need, the connection they need, all the things that you want, because I'm watching a lot of people who are so-called leaders fold like cheap chairs, right? Spreading and spewing a lot of shit that doesn't really do anything. The reality is, who is stepping up as leaders right now in the community, to the people around you, to those that love you and look up to you? That's going to make or break you going forward, specifically your clients and past clients and potential clients, right? That's something that's important for us to understand, right? Many of you all train for this. Some of you more than others, but I can guarantee you right now that everyone on this call is prepared for this based on the situations we have, based on the tools that we have, the trainings, the accelerations, all the things that we have, right? The question for you today is, what do I do next, right? What do I do next? Because like I mentioned earlier, right now it's just raining. Right? We all know the story about the ark, right? And Noah's ark, and everyone thought it was crazy, right? But right now it's just raining, but there's no doubt that the flood is coming. And so use this time right now to kind of fill in those last minute holes before the shit hits the fan. It's kind of that in between energy right now when things aren't that bad yet. Use this time right now to fill those gaps in that mind, right? Get your story clear on what you're going to have going forward for this, because we want to be waging a war of certainty going forward, right? We want to stay in a place of certainty and decision going forward when you're hitting the face with bad news, when deals falling out, when people quit, when people leave, when there's less people show up on this call. It's going to determine how you show up or not, because I will guarantee you at the end there will be less people than there are today. I'm okay with that because I've trained up here. I'm prepared, right? The question is, are you prepared? Are you going to be prepared to get through that? Because that's something that makes a big difference for us overall from a question standpoint. You've got to be willing to create this faith, and I want you to wall that off in the form of what we are here. And what I'm looking to do for our team and for us is I want to help be your shield, right? I can't make you do the work. I can't be there to guide you, and you can feel the energy changing since we're working remotely now, is that there's not the same accountability. There's not the same part there. You can see the people in the afternoon that disappear. I can't be there to force you. But what I can be here is help be your shield in this time period right now when what you need is faith. But for you to do that and remain that, you're going to have to be plugged in and stay plugged in. I'm going to need you plugged in daily, be a part of the huddles, be invested in the huddles, and change your story that I'm there that day to fill my cup up and to get my daily focus in place so I can maintain my faith. That's the key for us today. And I want you to take this going forward overall.